When this morning's guest wanted to open his new business, he reflected back on some blueprints and realized that he needed to be assisted by God. Who is he? You'll meet him coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at Reflections, assisted living facility in Carolina Forest, across from Carolina Forest Elementary School and behind Horry County State Bank. We're focused on Reflections and we're visiting with its owner, Sonny Clardy. Good morning, Sonny.
Hi, Greg. Good morning.
And the director of music at Sockasty Baptist Church. I'm sorry I failed
exactly
to,
right.
Of course, the creator of Life Blueprints, and obviously it was fascinating reading about Sonny Clardy investment, educational investments.
Right. That's been
and what
some
all
years
you,
ago. Yes.
Is that right?
Yes. The educational investments part was when I was a part of Horry County Schools.
Okay,
for
sure.
12 or 13 years. And,
right.
But Life Blueprints is still in place, of course.
That was fascinating.
Yeah.
Visiting that website, Sherry, our
Really?
producer, had printed off a ton of information there, and to see your goals to really reach that out, not only just in Horry and South Carolina, but all over the country.
Right. That's right. I spent 8 years traveling, sharing Life Blueprints in churches and some private schools, Christian schools, public schools as well.
Right.
As well as my music that has always been a part of my life. But thank you for having me on the show today.
Absolutely. And of course, I think you opened the first of the 4 interviews earlier this week.
Right.
We've had a fascinating lineup just yesterday and the day before. Debbie Harwell,
right,
the founder of the Myrtle Beach Herald,
yes,
our show sponsor.
Wonderful lady.
She is
yes.
tremendous. Rick Neal, who's a licensed funeral director in Balmer.
I've known Rick for years.
Is that right?
Yes,
He's about to open a new funeral home. And of course, on Tuesday, Glenda McIntyre, who's co-chairing this year's Heartfall at the Myrtle Beach Convention Center.
I met Glenda this morning, but I've known her husband.
Is that right, Brian? The cardiothoracic surgeon,
yes.
who's a superstar.
Yeah, wonderful people.
One of the only ones in the county, if not the only one. One of two.
Right.
You know, so much has to happen, and obviously as we think about a new facility like this, I think it's just virtually 90 days.
Well, we are very excited. It is a new facility, Reflections at Carolina Forest Assisted Living, and we opened on December 3rd.
Is that right?
December 3rd of 07.
Yeah, less than 90 days.
That's right.
Wow.
So really had to make a decision, Greg, you know, opening or being approved by DHEC to open.
Right.
Do we go ahead and open right through Christmas?
Right.
Or do we wait because so many people are traveling, and decided to go ahead and open and give people an opportunity to start coming through the building and looking at what we offer, seeing the rooms, seeing the building, and that went very well. We've had a lot of traffic over here all through the month of December and now into January and now into February. But things are picking up. We're extremely excited about what we're going to do here to help the elderly or whatever.
Earlier this week, you gave a couple of us a tour, which was tremendous.
Right,
a couple other days this week, and it has been amazing to see what all you've done here. If a viewer was visiting the first time, let's say they were coming up from the beach or coming down from the PD, what's the best way to get here, and what are they going to see when they get here?
Okay, the best way to get here is when you come in, like from the PD area on 501, coming from Conway, you would enter into Carolina Forest. Okay. The big, green, beautiful sign there right on 501. Right. You would come into Carolina Forest, and once you cross the railroad track, in about a half a mile, you would cross the railroad track, and then you'll see the Horry County State Bank on your left, and the Carolina Forest Elementary School. You would make that first left, and then turn immediately with another left turn, as if you were going into the bank parking lot, or Horry County State Bank, and you'll see Reflections Assisted Living straight ahead.
It's right in front of you. You see a doctor's care on your right, and then Reflections right in front of you.
Gray metal roof building with a brick, and that's how you get to us. If you're coming from the beach, of course, just look for the Carolina Forest sign on your right. And
take a right.
And follow the same direction.
Absolutely.
Very easy to find, right in the heart of Carolina Forest.
Well, you know, as we look out the window here, each morning this week, I've been looking out and seeing. I'm looking at the Carolina Forest Elementary School, and have seen the cars coming in during the interview between 7 and 7:30. It's been amazing to watch each of the flood of cars. It's a ton of cars that come by.
A lot of traffic on that corner.
A lot of visual for y'all, for Doctor's Care, for Horry County State Bank. What a tremendous location. How did you decide, of course, for you, I think you mentioned you live in Myrtle. You spent part of your days in Socastee, and then how did you decide that this location was going to be right for Reflections?
Well, Greg, I was raised in Myrtle Beach, on the north end of Myrtle Beach, around 62nd Avenue area.
Right.
And I've been living in Northwoods, which is around 76th Avenue there for the last 25 years.
Wow.
Myself and Carolyn and our son Joshua. Joshua's out on his own now, grown man himself. But me and Carolyn still live in Northwoods. And when we were contemplating and praying about this business, the way it came to fruition was through my family. My dad had a touch of dementia leading into Alzheimer's. He passed away, and at that point I started thinking about assisted living. And I started praying about the Lord opening the door and helping me to put the pieces together, the business plan and so forth, that has to take place to make something like this happen. Right. And then after my dad passed away, I took care of my uncle, who in his home was very ill for approximately 3 years.
Wow.
And he took the same path my dad did, dementia and Alzheimer's. And when he passed away, it was just before his passing, about a year before he passed, I had purchased the land here. And the doors started opening. Right. And I met with some people in Myrtle Beach that I've known for many, many years, from being grown up in Myrtle Beach. Well, my family came to Myrtle Beach in the late 40s.
Is that right?
Oh, yes.
That long
this place,
ago.
my dad ran an Exxon service station on the north end of Myrtle Beach for 42 years.
Is that
so
right?
I've seen all the changes in Myrtle Beach. And I've known some wonderful people over the years. Built relationships over the years, and we're going to talk about in just a moment maybe the right blueprints.
Sure. Absolutely.
And I just went to some of these people and sat down and shared my heart with them and said, what do you think? What do you think about the assisted living concept, the need in our community, the need not only in Myrtle Beach but Conway? And that led to the selection of this piece of property. I dealt with Scott McNew, who at the time was with Burrs and Chapin.
Right.
And Scott was very instrumental in helping me locate this and making an offer and being able to acquire the land, and then we started with the plans of the building.
Oh, yeah.
And we just felt like the location, centrally, the way Carolina Forest was growing, the connection to provide a Christian-based business, assisted living, that really has a heart and a passion for it. Right between Myrtle Beach and Conway would be the ideal place to be.
Well, you sure found it, yeah. You sure
We're
found
so
it.
Thankful.
Of course, when folks pull up, there's ample parking here, which was tremendous. But when they pull up, what are they going to find when they come inside? I know all this week we've been filming here in the library, which is a great location. I'm looking across at a room over there where there have been a number of the family room, lots of folks coming in and out through there all week long. I think I saw your sister, who actually helps out here, who works
Pam
here,
works in activities,
who was doing a Bible study one of the days earlier this week, which was tremendous.
As well. This morning as well. So when you come in the entrance of the building, we have the monitor residence for families to come in and out of the building. You have the system is through ADT security, and you swipe your little card, and it lets you in, and at times gives our director opportunity to go online, and she can see the times that people are entering and exiting the building and who they are, because it identifies you. Your card has a number.
That's tremendous.
So we're able to keep track of the entering, and from a safety standpoint, we felt like that was the thing to do.
That's brilliant.
But you would enter the front of the building, and the family room is to your left with a television. For families to come in and spend time with their loved one. On the right, the room that we're in now is the library/reading room, we called it. It's a very quaint, quiet room to come and to spend quiet time and read. Like you said, look out of the windows and
watch the traffic over there.
Watch the children over to elementary school.
And see them right now. That's right.
A lot of traffic and the construction that's going on around us. And so you come through the building, and then you have a receptionist area on the right, and director's offices, activities office, my sister Pam. And Delisa McAllister is our director, and her office is on the right. Then you proceed on down the main hallway, and you enter the main dining room, which we think is very pretty. We had lunch there today.
Yes,
and,
yes.
You go into the dining room with the kitchen connected, commercial kitchen to your left. Then you come back into the interior of the building, and you have two main hallways to your left and to your right. And they go down and then tee off at each end. And at each end is a very large, centrally located nurses station on each end, which is where all of our which is where all of our certified nursing assistants, and we have an RN nurse on staff now. That's where they spend their time as far as doing their paperwork and their checks. So
and it is a lot has to happen when you're in an assisted living facility like this,
especially with the medications.
The
medications are managed That's why we use the certified nursing assistants.
Oh, yeah.
And med techs, which are approved through the state of South Carolina, and DEC monitors that.
Right.
And then by adding the RN, she's just an added check for us and balance to make sure that things are being done correctly, following the doctor's orders, which is what we're regulated by, is making sure that we follow doctor's orders and regulations that are in line with DEC.
And you felt, as you were planning it and meeting with folks and talking, and obviously the Lord backing you, that you would be able to do all that. You would have all the checks and balances. You would lay it all out and knew how important that was.
That's exactly right. Very crucial. Very crucial. But the nurses station is just fabulous. It's centrally located.
Right.
They all have a personal nurse call pager on them. The residents have the little pennant that they can wear around their neck on a necklace somewhere. Others just like to pin it on their clothing, and they just press the button. It does not alarm in the building. No one hears it except the CNA nurses. They have a pager that goes to them, and it just gives a little slight beeping sound
and lets them know who it is.
Lets
also
them know who it is, what time it is, and they respond very accordingly.
Immediately.
And all the doors, like we talked earlier, are monitored. So if you have an individual that should not be going outside and they were to exit a door, the alarm will go off. And I think you were in the dining room with me, or Donald was with me earlier, and I opened the door to demonstrate the alarm, and the CNA was in the room within a matter of seconds, really.
Oh, yeah,
and she said, "Want to check on that door?"
Right.
So we really try to watch that, and for the safety and security of all the residents.
That is tremendous. How large is the facility, Sonny?
It's a lot larger
to go
than people
on and
think.
on and on. Yeah,
it took us a little longer to build than what we anticipated. But once people hear the size of the building, they say, "Wow, we understand now." It's 26,000 square feet.
26,000. Well, it sure is airy and roomy throughout as you go down the halls. Humongous, and both very high and wide.
Yeah, we wanted the higher ceilings and the wide hallways, so you could have your med cart there, and families could come by and still have room to maneuver. 28 rooms. The rooms are 14. The standard room is 14 by 28.
Well, they are gigantic rooms.
They are.
I was amazed. I've never seen anything like it.
And our residents are choosing. We will help them if they don't. If they have a piece of furniture that they need help with, we'll be glad to help them with that in acquiring that. But all of our families right now are bringing their own furniture from home. They want it. We want it to be as well with the family. We want it to be their home, their residence. So using their furniture, it makes them settle in a little better. Decorate it any way they want. We don't have closets. We're using wardrobes. They can have 1 or 2 wardrobes, which also dresses off the room as well. And there's some pretty rooms. Some of these families, the families have really done remarkable.
They've been amazed when you come in, when they come in and see
it's just
how folks have
remarkable
decorated
the planning that some of the ladies have done, and maybe some of the men as well. But
it's a broad crowd. You've got a great mix of folks.
But most of them have a section with maybe the double bed at the back of the room next to the window. And every room has a window for exit purposes if you were to have a fire. Every room is equipped with the state-of-the-art fire alarm and suppression system in every room. Some of the rooms, the beds are at the back, and then they have like a little divider, a little screen separator, and then they have separating that from a little sitting area with maybe a recliner and a television in the corner. Very nice, with lamps sitting around, a lot of plants.
Do you encourage folks to come by, let's say our viewers in the PD in southeastern North Carolina, if they're coming down to the beach to visit for the weekend, can they pop by, stop into Carolina Forest, come by and see?
Greg, we would love for that to happen.
Really? Yeah.
Yes,
great.
They could come by, and if they can call us ahead, that's great. 903-0700.
Good. It's good enough. 903-0700. Okay.
Right. Area code 843.
Right.
And if they're not in the area, if they can't call us ahead of time and they're in the area, please come by anyway.
Come on by.
Come on by and see us. They can have lunch with us, complimentary lunch.
Wow, listen to that.
Or
You're
dinner.
getting a lot of folks coming by. Yes.